Hello, welcome to another interesting episode of the program Sports Review on Buwa Community Voice. It's amazing to have you back. In fact, Sprinkle is getting even serious with the Tuesday and Wednesday UEFA Champions League results looking amazing. In fact, it was a terrible time for all of the teams coming from England with 2 draws and 4 losses, keeping the English teams in a state of dilemma. In fact, I feel like the most surprising result was Real Madrid getting a 3-0 win over Manchester City without Jude Bellingham and of course Kylian Mbappe. But that's not what we'll be talking about today, because today we'll be looking at the Premier League games coming through this weekend. Yes, this weekend we're talking about the Premier League match weekend for Saturday and Sunday. It promises to be interesting, with Burnley are playing host to AFC Bournemouth, and we'll see an interesting game come through with Sunderland up against Brighton and Hove Albion. Arsenal plays host to Everton as Chelsea will be in that stand test up against Newcastle United. We saw Newcastle flying so high, drawing Barcelona on Tuesday. We'll look at also West Ham United up against Manchester City as one of those games to look at. Also, Crystal Palace takes on Leeds United. Manchester United are going to be coming back from that loss, the first loss on that Michael Carrick to Newcastle, as they take on Leeds United. As they take on Aston Villa, beg your pardon. Nottingham Forest takes Fulham, and then it will be Liverpool up against Tottenham Hotspur. Welcome on this one. So I'll be talking about this very interesting fixtures with a gentleman and lady who will be flanking me left and right to do justice. So seated by my immediate right hand side is the man Bonfrey Joe. Bonfrey, good to have you. And also Chiwendo, and to complete the quadruple is the man CI Zoro. Zoro, the Premier League is looking settled for some persons. They're looking like, okay, it's Arsenal's year to be champions. While in some quarters, somebody like Jordan Mikel, who is a legend from Chelsea, saying even if Arsenal wins the league, that he will not be rating Arsenal that they cheated their way into it. But let's not go into that. It's coming very, very thick. And I want to start with Arsenal. They play host to Everton in the Premier League in an encounter that promises to be mouth-watering. In fact, we've seen what Shane Dyche have been able to David Moyes have been able to do as the coach of Everton. Is it giving banana peel? Or is Arsenal still going to make sure that the argument sitting pretty? 7 points clear of the top of the Premier League.
I think David Moyes is doing a good job with Everton, but not consistent. I mean, nobody is expecting that David Moyes will take the Everton side to go win a trophy or win a title. Probably maybe a Carabao Cup or a FA Cup, but I mean, they're not expecting that they will be going to the Champions League spot or even taking anything or even winning the league. So, for me, I think he has done a good job for them to sustain them in the league. It's not a small feat. I mean, we're seeing what is happening to Nottingham Forest. We're seeing what is happening to Tottenham Hotspur. That's to tell you how tough the league is. So, playing against an Arsenal team that is running for something, that is fighting for something, I think I'm going to give it to the Everton side, even though I feel like this is a must win for Arsenal, because they cannot just draw points. It's now getting to the peak, to the climax of the Premier League, and if you make any silly mistake, I mean, they have like 8 to 7 matches to play, so any little mistake can cost them. We also saw it happen doing Brendan Rodgers' side with Liverpool. A costly mistake cost them the league title. So this, at this point, is a critical stage for Arsenal, and I know that the pressure will now be mounting on them the same way the team will capitalize on it. That's why I'm going to give it to Everton.
But a draw up against Leverkusen on Wednesday goes a long way to say there's a lot not working at Arsenal. We must be honest about that.
Yes, I mean, rotation is a squad rotation, because we've seen that for the 3 past game, Eberechi has been starting ahead of the captain of the side. That's to tell you that there's a match rotation. The defense too is not really reliable at this point. Yes, Timber for me is a little bit shaky, and then you now look at the left side, Calafiori, who normally should be playing that position, but I don't know the reason why he's sitting on the bench, and then you're putting an Nkape. Nkape is not a left back player, but he's now playing that position. That's to tell you that it's not all going well for them at the back. It's club rotation, player rotation, but they have squad depth. That is what is playing for Arsenal right now. This season, we've never seen Arsenal have the squad depth that they have right now. I think that will go for them. So that's, for me, they're struggling. I feel like it is the players trying to adjust, trying to understand each other, because there's a particular set of players that have, over time, come to adapt to themselves, understand the kind of play. Now it is, you could see that somehow I feel like Declan Rice and Eberechi, there is this struggle because they have not been playing together for that long. So I feel like with time it's going to adjust. But for me, Arsenal have the squad depth to go all out to win the EPL this season. If they lose it, it's their own loss. But for me, this game against Everton, I don't know why I would be giving it to Everton.
Okay, looking like you're all Arsenal at the moment. Bonfrey, it's Arsenal up against Everton. I think I know what you're going to say, but let me hear it after all.
Yeah, Arsenal against Everton. Everton has not been able to get a win against Arsenal in their last 6 encounters. The least they could get was a draw. That was in early 2025. They got a draw. That's a 1-1 draw at Everton. So one thing you should understand that Arsenal playing Everton, I won't say it's a walk in the park, because considering the fact that Arsenal has the 3 games to go now, 3 games going now, Arsenal has stronger games because they will be playing Man City in the cup final next. So they need all players on ground, but the Premier League is not just something you can just leave. So I think Arsenal will want to give all their all in this match against Everton to get a win in this match.
Okay, giving it their all will be the situation. CI0 is going to be Arsenal up against Everton.
So he said something, and I want to start there. Arsenal, being all sincere to you, they are one of the favorites to come into this particular competition and then see an overall win. But then Arsenal is not a fantastic this particular season. This team, they cannot be rated as a fantastic team.
But they are 7 points ahead. That could be contradictory.
They used to be more than that before. Now any mistake from them will dent. Everton, he said, that's why I started from what he said. Everton, they've been able to win Everton quite all right, but it has always been a struggle. It has never gone beyond 2 in any of their wins so far.
I think Arsenal been winning just 1-0. I think
you understand?
No. In 2023, we got a 4-0 win against Everton.
That was 2023. We're talking about recently.
Recently, it has been a 1-0, 2-1.
That's a very slim margin because Everton always gives them a run for their money. And then
slim margins win.
And then Moyes at this particular point is in to be able to prove a point. Everton at this point.
What wins the league for someone? It's not just to win a match.
The point is the point is trying to prove is we all didn't see Everton being at the 8th position in the league table at this point. Now they are at the 8th position. Everton has just 2 losses. In the last 5, they have 3 wins.
And they might be eyeing some European places, man.
You get? So Everton at this point are eager to get into the cup. They're not in competition to win the league, but they're eager to make a point. And one of those points is winning Arsenal. So now you come to Arsenal. Arsenal, every other person now knows that Arsenal has issues at their back. Yes, the front has rather been just a little bit extraordinary to an extent, having the ability as who always starts up and then performs 1 or 2, having the difficulties where Rice is trying to be very creative, but then because he does not blend in with so many things, it's getting even difficult for him. But then the back is leaking. You talk about Timber, and then those things are the things Everton would want to capitalize on.
Even Saliba and Gabriel have not been consistent for the past 4 matches.
You get matches now, and then they don't need to lose this match because there is a possibility that Manchester City, with the loss against Real Madrid, will be coming into their next match with a banger. They lost 3-0, bruh.
Before they can get up from that 3-0, it will be weak.
You not even survived your draw.
No, just relax.
You've not even survived your draw. And then
Bayern Leverkusen playing against Bayern Leverkusen for Arsenal in Germany. I've seen
Bayern Leverkusen
I saw the drop
of a Bayern Leverkusen team that is not even.
Wait, I saw the drop because all the head-to-head we played with them at their home, it has always been a 1-1, a 1-1. But once they get to Emirates, it has only been a 4-1. The 2 times they've come to Emirates, it has been a 4-1 win.
So you are really arguing about Bayern Leverkusen.
When they come to
about
Emirates,
drawing Bayern Leverkusen,
when they come to Emirates, when they come to Emirates, we give them what we know.
Let's let the sleepy dog lie.
Okay.
We'll find out in the coming weeks about how the Champions League will pan out. But one of the big games to look out for is Chelsea. Chelsea is so disappointing. They've had goalkeeper drama. Sanchez was on the bench. Jorgensen was there on Wednesday as they were beaten. In fact, they had the game in control in the 73rd minute when it was still 2-2 before all hell let loose. And we also saw what happened. Kvaratskhelia coming from the bench to win man of the match in that particular fixture. So Chelsea will play host to Newcastle United in a game that have seen Newcastle avoid defeat in the last 3 times that they've been able to face Chelsea. And if you look at that, fixture, and you begin to wonder if Chelsea, as they've struggled in the last 3 against this side, will be able to come to the party.
Chelsea playing at home has always been their home has always been their best, as in when you say their best play, their best place to play the football, you understand? But this time around, playing against a Newcastle side that got a win against Man U, with all the magic Man U has been doing for the past 6 games in a row. They've been doing magic in the past 6, and they got a win against Man City and got a draw against a Barcelona side. With the last, it took a last minute penalty for Barcelona to get that draw. So I think Chelsea, considering the fact that they will be playing the Champions League against a stronger rival. When I say stronger rival, it's a callback of what happened in the Club World Cup. You understand? That was what was still going to play out at Stamford Bridge. You understand? So playing at Stamford Bridge against a Newcastle side, and Wednesday you'll be playing against which leg will you rest? So I think I'm giving it to Newcastle.
Okay, Newcastle United, because Chelsea have got a very Herculean task, a mountain to climb when they will be going back to play up against Paris Saint-Germain on Tuesday next week. And I can tell you authoritatively that even as James said, it's surmountable, but I can tell it's a very tall order to achieve. Let's look at what you think about this particular one.
I mean, when I saw the game against PSG, Paris Saint-Germain, I knew that Liam Rossino will have a lot of work to do, because you could see that the changes Enrique brought into that game show superiority when it comes to the coaching job. And I mean, Enrique really proved that he's a seasoned coach, unlike Liam Rossino. And then going into this game against Newcastle, I have this special soft spot for Eddie Howe, Newcastle side. I mean, with the Alexander Isak saga, he had to start rebuilding all over again, trying to put some touches in the team. And so far so good. He has also shown that he's a manager that nobody is looking at, but he's a manager that has done a very significant done a very significant thing with Newcastle, and that is what is playing out for them. I mean, you look at a Newcastle side playing against a Barcelona and Flick, a magician when it comes to managerial jobs. I think I need to give the flowers to Eddie Howe for him to hold down Barcelona. At a point, I was even scared for Barcelona that they could have lost that game to Newcastle, because Newcastle played them from beginning to the end. There was no dull moment watching Newcastle against Barcelona. And then if they bring that same agility into that game against Chelsea, it's going to be trouble for Chelsea. I mean, it's a Newcastle side. I think the longer, like they used to say, the longer the wine, the tastier and sweeter it becomes. I think that's what's happening to Newcastle, because at the beginning of the season, it's looking like they were shaking, But towards the end of the season now, they are beginning to gel and get themselves together. I think that is what is working for them. For me, what Newcastle played against Barcelona is a world-class standard play. If they use that same feat and play against Chelsea, it's going to be disastrous. It's going to be terrible. It's going to be, give me grammars to use.
Well, talking about Chelsea, do you think they will be making it to Champions League places this season with where things are going?
Let me be very factful. As a matter of fact, Chelsea under Noah is what's the word? Terrible. Okay. I really do not understand the reason why the management started after. I think I've said this repeatedly. Why go for a novice? Right? If you see his pattern of play, even when Chelsea is winning, I personally am not satisfied. Right? And then the issues with the goalkeeper, I feel that shouldn't even be a problem during important matches, as far as I'm concerned. Right? Chelsea played well, having scored and equalized, and then having held their ground to an extent. But that is not a standard. Chelsea at this particular point is far away from being an average team. Even with the world class players that are growing there. Joao Pedro under Noah is doing well, but then it does not say well about the team. You cannot use one person and judge the entire team. He sees chances. There's a lot of chances he sees these days, and a lot of things, assist and the rest of them. The likes of the others are equally doing well, but I am personally not satisfied. As a matter of fact, Newcastle match against Barcelona, I watched that and it was beautiful. Newcastle gave Barcelona a run for their money.
Chelsea won Barca 3-0 at the time.
No. I'm
under Enzo Maresca.
I'm talking about having a Newcastle team battle. Chelsea has two Champions League, for crying out loud. Chelsea is a team that is to reckon with on a very good day. You cannot say same with Newcastle, but Newcastle is doing fantastic at the moment. As a matter of fact, Newcastle has more wins than Chelsea in the last 5 matches. Chelsea is hustling. It's just hustling. And then, as far as I'm concerned, is my favorite. I doubt. And then there's a possibility that match is going to end with on a Newcastle win.
Newcastle to get a win.
I'm telling you, because except Noah decides to wake up, do the right findings he needs to bring back. I don't even know why that keeper issue is still an issue till today, but I feel he needs to sort that out, tighten up his midfield.
I feel like the centre back position.
You understand?
Is a problem in the team.
Then
why are you going to now put it on? I have a soft spot for Liam Rossino. Are you going to put it on Liam Rossino? Is he the one that will recruit player? He's using what is available.
He's using what is available.
All of them are great players.
But wait.
No, he was talking about the midfield, and I'm saying who should be in the midfield? Who is in the
best midfield?
Listen,
Enzo Fernandez is not doing a very good job there.
One of the best midfield in the world, right?
That's Enzo Fernandez.
No,
even Caicedo is also there. And I mean,
they've done the best. One of the best.
The management of Chelsea they made a wrong choice by giving an unexperienced manager to manage that group.
Having a good midfield and knowing how to shuffle them.
If it was, you said something
against PSG.
But before Mikel Arteta came in, what was he doing? Was he not a ball boy? Learning work.
You feel the same thing.
You can say this now if he wins the league. What has he done?
He has won FA Cup. He has won Carabao Cup.
And
about to win the league. About to win the Carabao Cup. About to win FA Cup. What do you mean? Quadruple is there for me.
What you're saying, Enzo Maresca won the Club World Cup.
And was sacked.
And Enzo Maresca is still not a coach that is up there. Let me tell you that what's his name? The former Tottenham manager who was sacked won the Europa League. So when we talk about managers and we try to, because the man finished second in the last 3 seasons, I try to bring the Ateta to the equation. I can't.
No, he was
on a very good.
He was saying that unexperienced, and I'm saying Mikel Arteta was not experienced.
And it's not an achievement.
He's still not
achievement. That's what I'm saying.
Aside that, if you are to look at it, we are saying stability. When Mikel Arteta joined us, now I'm not a fan of Mikel Arteta, but I'm going to defend this one that you brought up. When Mikel Arteta joined Arsenal was shaking.
Okay, wait.
But what did he do?
The question is,
he brought stability.
No, chill. Where did he come from?
He came from Manchester City.
Good. Where is Noah coming from?
Strasbourg.
Noah was even more experienced. Because Mikel Arteta has never handled a team.
And I'm saying
before coming into Arsenal, and he brought stability into the team.
Stability or no stability, Arteta is learning on the job. And that is why he's here to win the Premier League. And I still doubt if he will have his hand on any trophy this same season.
He's learning on the job, but he brought stability.
I think I'll prove you wrong with that, because we just have like 7 games to go. And that's 7 games to go. Before next week, before the week runs out, the trophy
You're not even sure of winning.
Who said so? We are getting
Manchester City is a loss already.
Let's leave it.
Manchester City will win paper already.
How?
It's a loss already.
Let it slide.
So what we are trying to win is an Everton.
When we get
Manchester City is a loss.
See,
and let me even predict Manchester City before it comes. Okay. 3-0 straight.
No Premier League team at the moment can do a quadruple.
At the moment.
Yes.
Very true.
See, when the 22nd of this month passes and there's no cup yet in Arsenal, then you can now start saying that you can't get a quadruple.
And I don't think any English team is going to do it anytime
soon. No. Let me. He said something, and then you did not pay attention to the word. He said if on the 22nd, Arsenal does not. No. I like this kind of.
There's no silverware.
You know why I like
Emirates. To defend that, we don't defend that silverware, then you know that Arsenal cannot.
And then mark that Manchester City.
Arsenal playing in the finals of. Playing in the final. We are still in the FA Cup. We are in the quarterfinals. In the Champions League, we're in the round of 16. What are you in the Premier League? We are topping the league with 7 points. So
do you believe you would win at home when you come home?
Why not?
You win them.
It's a sure win for Arsenal.
I think it's a sure win.
It's a sure win for Arsenal when it comes to that.
Leverkusen has proven that they are not consistent when they go away.
It's
possible.
Let's still leave it at that. But all I'm saying is, let it never be mentioned that we'll be talking about managers. Elite.
When you say
elite managers,
but his name will be written with a golden pen very soon. It will be written with a golden pen.
Let me tell you, if Mikel Arteta decides to be, if Arsenal decide to lay him off, Mikel Arteta will get a job in 1 month.
It doesn't matter, but he will still not win.
The likes of Sir Fabregas now.
Let me explain.
Wait, when you talk of the likes of Sir Fabregas now, what is he doing?
He's not elite.
He's not elite, but presently now he has brought these people from Division 2, brought them to the league.
Let me explain.
He's in the last time he got them to the 10th position.
It's okay.
Now he's presently at the top 4
for the Champions League. All the seasons he's coached Arsenal, but he didn't win it. And let me tell you, Guardiola coached a certain Man City team for 10 years and he's only having 1 Champions League trophy, and that's poor. It doesn't matter whoever he is, for winning a single Champions League trophy with the kind of team that he paraded and the kind of time that he played, he coached the team for extremely poor.
And he's losing this one too.
No, it's almost looking like he's lost.
That just shows that the Premier League is actually a very tough.
No, I'm saying the Champions League.
Okay.
Winning the Champions League.
I'm trying to say it's difficult. He didn't do it with Bayern Munich.
Exactly. And I said in 10 years, he's been able to win it once in 10 years. That's not elite. He's a top manager, isn't he? Yeah. But in the Champions League, he can't hit his chest. I know a certain Zidane who've done it 3 times. 2 in a row, skipped 1 and did it again. That's Zidane. And Zidane can say, I'm elite in the Champions League and way ahead of
it, but not elite as a coach. Because Zidane is still learning when it comes to Pep Guardiola.
What team did you win it with?
Real Madrid.
Real Madrid is not a Champions League.
Before in the last 10 years, Real Madrid has never been better than City in squad depth.
Better than City. But when it comes to playing in the Champions League, you don't take it away from Real.
What we are,
get me that.
what we are
When
trying
it comes to the Champions
what we are trying to say,
this is their game.
forget the team you're coaching. If you give Arteta Real Madrid, you can't be assured he's going to win the Champions League. We are seeing Abaloa struggle. We've seen Xabi Alonso get sacked. What I'm just trying to say is that we judge managers by silverware. Win it, and we talk about you. So
let's
I
relax.
think I've made
We
my
get the
point.
win.
West Ham United takes on Manchester City. City understand that they need to close up the gap. In fact, they've got a game in hand, which they must win, to reduce it to 4 points. But at the moment, it's 7. And any banana peel with West Ham United is further going to want City. And I think City are out of the Champions League. City have a Carabao Cup final against Arsenal. It's their favorite trophy to win. City are at the verge of losing the Premier League if they don't take care. They've been beaten 3-0 in the first half of the Champions League on Wednesday. First half hat-trick from Valverde. Now you begin to wonder. I think it's the last season for Pep Guardiola, no matter how it turns out to be. I feel like he wouldn't want to continue. He's got 1 year left in his contract, and I do not feel he'll be fulfilling that. But then, do you see City going to chase this Premier League to the very last day, or have you considered it to Arsenal already in your opinion?
I think Manchester City is not a team you should toy with, and leaving the Champions League, because I mean, to take a miracle, it's not something that is not possible with the kind of squad depth that Manchester City have. I think they can actually do a return and win that game against Real Madrid. Yeah, because for me, I feel like Pep Guardiola is a very good tactician, and they have the players to do that job. If you notice that in that game, there were little mistakes that was made in the defense that cost them, and I think they can be able to correct it. Ruben Dias and Maguire, they have not really blended together, and that's really showed in that game. I think if they can work on it, I feel like Manchester City can still get a win against Real Madrid. It's not over. It's not a team like Manchester City is not a team you can say it's done and dusted. And after all, 2019 era, nobody gave it to Liverpool. Liverpool was the same thing. Barcelona 3-0, and Liverpool came back to do what? To win that game and qualify against Barcelona. So that's to tell you that it's not this kind of things. We have seen it happen, and we've seen that the other team comes back. Nobody gave it to Liverpool. As a matter of fact, it was done and dusted. And mind you, that was a Barcelona team that had the likes of Messi, Xavi, all of them were still playing.
With all of your praises, do you think City will win the Hammers? That's the question.
Of course, I feel so. I feel they have the players, they have the squad depth to do it. They can still.
Don't you think there'll be a lot of pressure in that dressing room, a lot of what ifs, and that could kill the morale?
I don't think there's a what
of to sacrifice that game for that Champions League game.
I don't think there's going to be. They have the squad depth on ground, and another thing that's affecting Manchester City, I think Erling Haaland has not been coming to the party. This is one of the things that they were trying to avoid. Pep have never been a man that builds his team around the player. But when Erling Haaland, the emergence of Erling Haaland, it was consistent. I saw that they were building that Manchester City around Erling Haaland, and I know the reason why, so that he can continue to get the golden boot. But now it's beginning to cost them, and I think Pep Guardiola will be telling himself, this is not my kind of game. I don't build my team around any player. Erling Haaland has not been coming into the party, and it is affecting Manchester City right now.
I think the problem is the creative midfielder. There is none in the team right now.
I mean, are you going to say Rodri is not there? Bernardo Silva, are they not being creative?
Like a Kevin De Bruyne. I feel like that is one thing that they failed to achieve, to get
a replacement,
someone who would service Erling Haaland. They've tried a couple of players in those key midfield positions. That's why I feel like City might be hell-bent on getting Tonali from Newcastle United. He's one of those who play that game like Kevin De Bruyne. Like, I've got a good eyesight for those midfield connection. I feel like he's underserviced, and it will show when they face very good opponents.
But when Kevin De Bruyne is not in the game, Erling Haaland still performs.
No.
He still score goals. Last season he did. He still scored goals.
All the goals.
We're saying Erling Haaland is not in form right about now. He's not in form.
Last season was the worst season for City. Don't forget. They went trophyless. And what was the cause?
Erling Haaland is not in form.
There was
I beg to disagree.
And they lacked what Rodri could give, because Rodri went out with an ACL. Now they went trophyless last season, and this season Haaland started scoring very well. And those, like we saw them against Madrid, Sabinho and Doku starting in the same game, tells you about how he wants to sacrifice that midfield for attack, just to see how the balls could get to Haaland, because you understand that that's where his strength lies.
But he was not performing
because the players could not deliver.
Erling Haaland is not. We need to come to this understanding that Erling Haaland players come in form and out of form. Right about now, Erling Haaland is not in form, and it's quite unfortunate that Manchester City built their team around Erling Haaland, and you could see that it's frustrating him not getting those goals, because I mean, you cannot say Kevin De Bruyne is the reason the creative they have. Bernardo Silva is doing a good job, not like Kevin De Bruyne would do, but Bernardo Silva have been sacrificing himself, because we know that Bernardo Silva normally goes forward to try to get goals, but this season how many goals has he scored? Because he's trying to do the dirty job in the midfield, and Rodri partnering him, and you're telling me Erling Haaland is not in form. He's not.
I wouldn't agree less.
He's not.
I feel like he's not in form. For some time, he stopped scoring goals up until some recent, where he scored another goal that gave birth to other goals that started coming through. I feel he's tumbling, especially. I think the period of his goal drought was before the World Cup qualifiers at some point, and then he delivered, came back to the Premier League, had a little pause one way or the other. So let's just say it's been very, while having a creative midfielder to be able to help is an issue, but then he's not in form personally, because he has pace, he has that agility to withstand a player when you give him the ball, but these days he's nowhere to be found. He's in the state pitch, but rarely found.
Look at the person that is bullying him, Rudiger. Rudiger is bullying him. Can Rudiger do it when he was in Chelsea?
So just understand that every team that has a great man has someone that will match him or her. Even when playing with Arsenal, he was marked out of the game. You understand? So one thing you should understand, it has come to a time that you cannot just build a team, a one-man team.
And I also think that some players are being very careful to go to the World Cup. And we must also,
and he's the captain of his side.
You must also put that into consideration. If I'm a player now, I'm not taking no risk. Rodrigo will not go, and he's sitting
and
there.
And Jude Bellingham too is dicey.
But let's talk about Liverpool, who takes on Tottenham Hotspur in a game that I feel will sink Tottenham. In fact, with the way Liverpool were beaten by Galatasaray, they need a quick response, and that quick response is
really 1-0. Is it beating?
They were because as far as I'm concerned,
how was it?
What happened? Who won?
Who got the win there?
The way you said it, no, they lost. But the way you said it, like,
excuse me.
If
let me rephrase.
The way Liverpool were beaten for the second time in the same Champions League.
No, I'm saying that.
No, I'm saying
Liverpool side
no. And a Chelsea team. You can say a Chelsea team was.
No.
Chelsea was
If you say
Chelsea was whitewashed.
If you say a Chelsea team was beaten, I feel like it's an insult, because the Manchester City team was beaten throughout. Manchester City did not even see.
We are bruised.
You understand?
Manchester City we are bruised.
You understand? So Galatasaray.
First half hat-trick.
It was a bruise.
Galatasaray is playing well, and they played against Liverpool the way I feel they ought to have done.
What I'm pointing out about Liverpool is that, let's say the first one was a lucky charm. What happened the second time? And I'm telling you authoritatively that nothing will change at Anfield. But let's not go there. Liverpool are going to take on Tottenham Hotspur. In fact, if Liverpool are eyeing a European place, they must get all the 3 points in their bag. Tottenham understand that losing. In fact, Tudor is at the verge. He might be sacked just after this game. And we all know that Arne Slot, coming back from that defeat, won a statement that will follow up. What do you think?
I think the both team are under pressure right now. I mean, even
But
though
there's a team with more
Liverpool has more pressure than Tottenham.
Liverpool have
You know why I say they have more pressure than Tottenham? They are sitting close. They are sitting on the seventh position, trying any means to get to the
Champions
to
League.
go to the Champions League spot.
Champions League. Tottenham will be relegated.
Relegated.
Relegation is the reason why they are trying things out in the Champions League. They do not care about the Champions League at the moment. It's just to stay alive in the Premier League for next season.
That's right.
Relegation is terrible. You're not even sure you're coming back the next season.
No, that is
See
true.
what Coventry is doing now. And it can be anybody. You can just go back and fail to come back even in the next 3 seasons.
That is the way. I remember when Bolton used to be in the Premier League, and presently now Bolton is sitting in Division 2.
Look at Portsmouth.
They've left the Championship, gone to the Division
The League
1, from the League 1 to the League 2.
So you begin to understand that. In fact, I'm looking at seeing the Tottenham side.
They'll go all
That
out.
will put their bonuses and weekly wages on the side to play, because if you relegate,
Where do you come from again?
well, that's about that one. But let's look at the final game for the program here today on Buwa Community Voice. Don't forget the sports preview, probably sponsored by our friends at MaxBet. It's still www.maxbet.ng. Let's look at it. Remember to bet responsibly. United will be up against Aston Villa, and I think if there's a back-to-back losses for Michael Carrick, he will be losing the chance of becoming a contender for the permanent job at United.
Just as like I said that the game between Tottenham Hotspur and Liverpool is two teams that is facing pressure. The same thing is happening to Aston Villa. I mean, they lost their last game, and now they'll be playing against Manchester United that also lost their game and trying to prove a point.
This in Aston Villa, they failed to win in their last 4.
That is to tell you that they are struggling. And Emery, of course, some news have been coming out that he might be leaving the club at the end of the season. He's not under pressure. They saw what he's doing with Aston Villa. Nobody believed that Aston Villa could get to where they are right now. They're playing in the Europa League. That's to tell you that Emery has been able to give them something that they have been missing for a while right now. So I kind of feel like it's going to be a pressure. The pressure is going to be much on Manchester United than on Aston Villa, because
Aston Villa still very well put in the top 4.
there is nothing. They have nothing. They are not under any pressure, because they know originally they are not even part of what they are talking about when it comes to the Premier League.
But I think this.
But
game,
they are trying.
I think this game is a top 4 battle.
I think they are trying, and Michael Carrick. I think Michael Carrick should be able to win this game.
They are the same number of points, 51 each.
I think they should be able to. I think it's Manchester United should be able to win comfortably, but
I don't think so.
There's something about Emery. He knows how to play
all these big games.
He didn't do it against Chelsea.
He did it against Arsenal.
But he didn't do it against Chelsea under Liam Rushden. That's to tell you that.
But the first leg ended what? The first leg of Chelsea.
He won.
The first leg of Arsenal, he got a draw. He got a draw the first leg of Arsenal. That's to tell you a kind of a coach he is. Against big names like this, he knows how to
play them.
Against Man City, he did something. And against Man U, I see something coming again. Because he may lose. See, when they may lose all the games they have to lose, but when they play all these names like Chelsea, Arsenal,
United should be careful. If they lose, they'll be out of the top 4 somehow.
Top 4 should not be the priority. They should be talking about Europa League. It's a team that have been struggling, and now they're in this place. Europa League, Conference League.
Their luck is shining.
Conference League, they will be.
Their luck is shining.
Nobody.
See, United, we are busy doing. Is it not? What is it called? Is it a dream team of
27.
Yeah, because that was when they had the hope of coming maybe into the top 4. So for them
winning the league.
Okay, winning the league. Okay, now they've managed to. They are even planning on dragging the league with Manchester City, Arsenal. You understand? Because they are the third position. But let's wait and see what happens.
With as much as 9 games left to play, United are 51 points at third place. Aston Villa 51 points at fourth place. Just difference in goals scored, goal differences. I feel like that is the match of the weekend, and a lot in that top four race will be dependent on this fixture. And I know I still really understand that. And like I talked about, Carrick understand that his job is on the line now. I feel like the days where he could be able to do it is just far gone, and he's getting into those moments where he needs to be more serious, need to, get into games with a lot more difference. Because one thing that happens with the Premier League, I say it often, is that when you play, teams study you. And over time, because you have to come through for 38 games in a season, it's difficult to, just like if you notice lately, Arsenal have not been coming through with those corner kicks now.
Yeah.
It's beginning to look like
things have managed.
they've been hacked.
Yes.
You need to
Even
watch
likes
them.
of Chelsea has gotten more goals from the set piece than Arsenal this presently now.
So if you must win the Premier League or get to the top four or survive relegation, you must learn how to diversify play. Play this way this week, try this one next week, and what have you. So this is the point where we will be rounding off on this one. I can't thank you guys enough for your in-depth analysis on the program today. We'll see you on the next episode. All you need to do is to make sure that you like and subscribe to be a part of what we do here. Adios.